It's morphin' time. Pterodactyl.
Hi there, this is Datila with 3 years of wrestling, bringing you the wrestling time potion. Tonight I will be reviewing Monday Night Raw. Alright, so Monday Night Raw kicked off with the Quiz Bowl Academic Challenge. It was the Alpha Academy versus RKBro. I'm not gonna lie, this was actually a fun segment. I actually really enjoyed this segment. Although it's understandable some people probably didn't like it, but me personally, I liked it. I like how they had a wide variety of categories. They had Greek mythology, film and literature, cartoons, biology, US presidents, sports, pop culture, metric conversions, and geography. And that was such hilarious. I think my favorite question, I was guessing along with some of the questions, and I have to say, I really like the cartoon one. They had asked which Ninja Turtle uses nunchucks as weapons, which is Michelangelo. They had asked who is the father of Haley Baldwin, Stephen Baldwin. I was shouting A. They had asked why we. It was such a hilarious thing. I think my favorite part was when Randy told. At the final category was metric conversions. And I really liked when Randy Orton said, "You're not the only one who bakes, bro." I thought that was extremely hilarious. This was a fun, great segment overall. Of course, the winners were RKBro. So that means that they do get a rematch, an eventual rematch for the Raw Tag Team Championships. So, of course, RKBro winning did not sit well with Alpha Academy. So, there was a post-match assault, and then the Street Profits came out, and they had a match against Alpha Academy. It's a good match, very good match, and despite Street Profits' best efforts, Alpha Academy were victorious here. Then we had a Bobby Lashley segment. MVP introducing Bobby Lashley like Paul Heyman with Brock Lesnar, which I thought was hilarious. He was basically defending Bobby Lashley, saying that he did not see the interference. He just capitalized on it. And he said that if Brock Lesnar saw it, Brock Lesnar would probably capitalize on the interference too. And then it was pure. This was a really great segment. But MVP said that Austin Theory is the future of WWE, which he's not wrong. It seems like that's what he's the next chosen one, so to speak. And Bobby Lashley asked, when was the last time Brock Lesnar had a match on Raw? When was the last time he defended the WWE title? And that he hopes him and Brock Lesnar are the final two in the Elimination Chamber so that he can pin Brock Lesnar again. Then we had AJ Styles versus Damien Priest. This was a great match. Absolutely liked this match. I ain't even mad Damien Priest lost. This was a good, clean, finished match. We found out next week it would be AJ Styles versus Damien Priest for the United States Championship match. And I'm hoping that has a clean finish too. Would I be upset that it's a repeat match? No, because it's for the US title. And I won't be upset if Damien Priest wins or if AJ Styles wins, as long as it's a clean finish and we don't have a DQ. So then we had the Miz TV with the Mysterios. And I have to say, I actually enjoyed this because Miz brought up some points about how Eddie Guerrero, he cheated. His whole gimmick was cheat lines. So yeah, he celebrated and cheered. Beth Phoenix basically decked him and she's cheered, but yet he cheats and he gets booed. So those were actually some great points that the Miz brought up. He said he beat Drew McIntyre when Drew McIntyre could not be beat for the WWE Championship. That he's the only 2-time Grand Slam champion. And Maurice said that Rey Mysterio should call himself Rey Mysterio. Ray liked it, and then they get a rematch. So last week it was also The Miz versus Dominick Mysterio. The Miz won that. Today it was The Miz versus Dominick Mysterio, but Dominic ended up winning. Marie's getting involved in this match. The ref caught her. She got escorted to the back. Rey Mysterio actually does get involved in this match, but he doesn't get caught, and allowing Dominick Mysterio to pick up the victory. So I thought that was pretty fun. I actually like that. Then we had Bianca Bella versus Nikki Ash, which was a decent match. It wasn't a bad match. I liked it. Of Bianca Belair won. Then we had once again Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory. It was a good match. Last week was a good match. Now, normally I would be upset that we're getting a rematch, but this time around, Kevin Owens was victorious. Had it been Austin Theory, I would have thought this match was completely pointless. But because Kevin Owens was, it was actually a really good match. Kevin Owens cutting a promo backstage saying that he loves Texas, that the people of Texas need him, that he will be disappointed if he cannot be at WrestleMania in Texas. That was such a fun, hilarious promo. I actually really, really thought it was hilarious. Then we get a Lita segment. And this basically, I actually like this segment between her and Becky. Becky said that she worshipped Lita as a teenager. And that without Lita, Brett's got something to say. Let me see. I'm curious to see what you have to say. That without Lita, there would be no Becky. But now that there's a Becky, there can't be a Lita. There really can't. And then she says that Lita has said that she hasn't had a title shot in 15 years. And that she has no problem being the underdog. And that as long as the WWE Universe supports her, she will be okay. And that as long as all she ever has is the people, she's fine. And then the segment ends with with Lita doing the twist of fate and the moonsault to Becky Lynch. I actually really like this segment. We found out that there's gonna do the women's elimination chamber match. There's gonna be a mystery spot. So I'm thinking it's either gonna be Asuka or maybe Alexa Bliss. It has to be Asuka, because I don't think Alexa Bliss is back to being the goddess yet. Then we had Liv Morgan versus Doudrop, which was a decent match. Wasn't a bad match. Please help me welcome the Cheesehead and AEW's the biggest AEW mark that I know is Brett J. Rasmussen.
Yeah! Hey, what up?
What's up?
Yes. So, we talking about Raw? Ooh,
yeah, of course.
Yes.
Actually, a pretty decent show tonight, if you ask me.
As an AEW mark. No, I'm kidding. This was terrible. This Raw was the worst one. No, I'm kidding. No, this was actually surprisingly
a really good Raw. I do have some criticisms of this show, like I do any wrestling show, but I actually really enjoyed this Monday Night Raw.
I know you texted me earlier. Like I pretty much watched most of it. Like I really just fast forwarded through the recaps and stuff, but like they had it be a first, like the first hour was straight through. And I loved that. That was great. And I think with them kind of being forced to go an hour, they had to do a lot of different WWE had to do a lot of different things for it. Mind, like, of course, you open with I think the best act on Raw is RKBro in the Alpha Academy. I adored that segment. That was.
Were you guessing along? Because I was.
Yeah, I was. It was great. It was fantastic.
I was surprised that the answer was Hamlet. I would have thought Romeo and Juliet would have been the answer.
No, it is Hamlet. It is Hamlet.
To be or not to be, that is the question.
And what I like about it, it was really well done. It was really well done. You have some easy questions. It's back and forth. So it's 2-2. Then you start to have Alpha Academy start to win. They get 2 more right. And
please tell me you got the cartoon question right?
Of course
Michelangelo with the nunchucks.
Of course, mind you, like Mikey is my boy. Like that's my turn.
I like Mikey and I like Leonardo.
But
did you get the Haley Baldwin question? Because I was screaming into my TV.
No, that's Stephen Baldwin. I mean, Stephen Baldwin. Oh yeah, but like that, it was fantastic. It was so well done because you have RK-Bro getting it wrong, and then you have the Alpha Academy. So, and what I love about this is Otis is about to go ahead. Oh, no, I think Gable chose movies and TV, and that was the whole Shakespeare question. And you hear Otis, and this is great. It's like I'm so glad that I'm like seeing all aspects of old Otis, like heavy machinery Otis, come out, and then we're just seeing Chad Gable being himself, which is so good. You hear Otis going ham, and you like he's like saying that because he's like, oh, Hamlet, ham meat, because it's Otis. And then I love it. He's like, he's going, and Gable goes, shush, 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 shush. And he says Romeo and Juliet, which is the wrong answer. And then you have RKBro say Hamlet. And you see Otis getting pissed, going, I had that. I was right. I knew it. And,
what I think made this segment really fun were the questions. Because this segment, honestly, could have been completely cringe. It could have been cringe.
Oh,
and it could have been terrible.
And like, I think I was back on here on the episode when it opened with the graduation.
Yeah.
I think I was here on that episode too. And that, like, that episode was, but that opening bit, that first like half hour, that first 20 half hour, where it was the graduation bit with them and then RKBro, that was the best thing on the entire show. And now this was like this opening hour, like I think it was like 45 minutes.
It flew by fast.
Like it was like 45 minutes because you have all of that. Because then you have
well first let's finish talking about the quiz bowl, and then we'll move on to other stuff.
Yeah, no, like I mean the quiz bowl was great. Well done. I really like how this crowd was hot.
Yeah.
This crowd was hot.
Maybe they were just, a little, and they thought it was hilarious.
And of course, I love it that the last question.
Hold on, before we get to the last question, I have to say for sure I missed the sports question, and the other one that I missed was what was it? The one about the Greek god.
That's easy. That one was easy.
It was at the tip of my tongue, but
that one was easy for me.
I can't think of it.
Mind you, I play a lot of God of War, so
of course, yeah. But yeah, I really like the last question. He said, "You're not the only one that bakes, bro."
Oh, that was so. I love it. I love it.
For sure, I would have missed that question.
Because like they went with that one, and I like. Chad Gable's the best thing ever. Chad Gable's the best because they just lost 2 points and now they're tied 4-4. So. And I love it. Like that second time they lost, that buzzer is so loud. He's like, it's like he's having a heart attack. He's like, stop! It's too loud. And I love it that like Kevin Patrick is reciting the question, and by this time, like the point of this of it in this part is for Chad Gable to start freaking out. Like, and now he has, and the goal was to get the crowd to start like booing him and like chanting against him. That was the goal, and they got it. So you hear the crowd just yelling at Chad, throwing him off, and you see Chad just flustered and everything. He's like, I don't know. Is it 14? Is it 28? Is it 32? I don't know. And he's like, is this one? And he guesses and he goes with 12. He goes with 12 for the final answer, and it's wrong. Yeah. And then it's the buzzer, and it's like he freaks out, and like he's having a heart attack and everything. And then I honestly thought that Matt Riddle was going to answer. I'm like, okay, here we go. It's going to be the pot. It's going to be the pot answer because we all know that he's a freaking stoner. And then I love it that Randy, I think it was said maybe like on After the Bell or something. It was like there was an interview that Randy Orton said or something where like one of the reasons why he loves hanging out with Matt Riddle is that he's his dealer. Like that's one of his. So he goes, I'm not, like as you said, you're not the only one who bakes, and all of us like if you know. He's like, oh, he's a stoner too. Yeah, and that was phenomenal. I love how. This is my favorite version of Randy Orton, I think, ever. I think, like, really, like, this is my favorite version of Randy Orton. I love how he's just having fun.
I would say this is my second favorite version of Randy Orton, of course, behind the Legend Killer. To me, the Legend Killer will always be my favorite Randy Orton gimmick.
And that, like, I mean, that is probably like legitimately the best gimmick, like, version of Randy Orton, but that very much built his career, and that was him as a heel. Whenever he's a face, he's still just like, I'm heel Randy Orton, I RKO you, you know, the biggest letters in sports entertainment, RKO, like da 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 da, and it's kind of just the same thing. This, like, Matt Riddle being with him, like, just the entire, like, ever since after Mania last year, and he's and like, and really Randy Orton deserves this because he's like, I did this crappy storyline. All of us, me, Alexa, and Bray, all got screwed because none of you knew what to do with that storyline at all. You had no payoff, no plan. It was just week to week. Where are we going? No one knows. Great. Awesome. Fun for me. And that's for everyone who was involved in that storyline.
Yeah.
And now he, like, the original plan was, I think he was supposed to go with, like, fight Cesaro or Sheamus or something. But he's teaming with Matt Riddle. And this was the best, like, because Randy's like, I'm doing fun stuff now. I do not want Randy to turn. It'll happen. Not anytime soon. I don't want, this is too good. This is your best tag team in all of WWE. RKBro is the best tag team in all of WWE. Personally, I would honestly say that Alpha Academy has already done more than the Usos have.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, you're going to have on SmackDown the Usos versus New Day for the 5,000th time. And poor Big E, who is just in tag team duty, and there's already reports.
But I don't think that was Big E's fault. I think what screwed Big E over was Xavier Woods getting injured indefinitely. Xavier Woods got injured, and that's why they sent.
How did he get injured? How did he get injured?
In a match. He got injured in a match, but he you know, otherwise I feel like they would have kept Big E on Raw.
I don't know. I feel like that if he would have stayed on Raw as a singles, like if Woods was still around, I think he would just be in the mid card fighting Damien Priest.
I think he would be in the Elimination Chamber.
No, I don't think so. No. This, I think the number, maybe they would choose. No, actually, no. I think this, like, them choosing Austin Theory to replace Shane O'Mac, that was the best move. They stumbled themselves backwards into it, which, but no, I don't believe so. I think, like, he got Kofi'd. No, but
all right. So then, Michael 101591 says, Damien Priest, you mean Hulk smash? That's funny. Before we get to Damien Priest, we had the Bobby Lashley segment, which I laughed at. MVP introducing Bobby Lashley like would introduce Brock Lesnar.
I forgot just before we get to there, because there was the Street Profits came out to
Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. Sorry.
So when no, you're good, you're fine. Because
this was a good match though.
It was like, yes, because like what I love about it, before the Profits come out, after RK-Bro wins and they
Hold
leave.
on, Michael 101591 said Quiz Bowl was awful. Felt like I was watching a game show network or a pro wrestling show. You know, you're entitled to your opinion, but agree to disagree. I don't think there's anything wrong with incorporating comedy in wrestling, as long as it's done right and it's not cringe. Bobby Lashley's sister say hello. You know, but I honestly felt like this was good comedy wrestling. But again, agree to disagree. Not everybody liked this segment. I know there's some people that hated it, so it's okay. Everyone's entitled to their opinion.
It's what you look for in your professional wrestling. For me, I love professional wrestling because of the characters and storylines. Like the game show bit is very sports entertainment. It's not like professional wrestling. But mind you, there's a lot of indie matches that are more gimmick matches than actual professional wrestling matches. Like one of my favorite matches is Orange Cassidy versus Colt Cabana at an indie show where they literally were wrestling over a bottle of beer. I know it sounds stupid, but it's a phenomenal match. Omega freaking wrestled a blow up doll. There's a match where Bryce Rinsberg from AEW, before he was signed to AEW, he refed, I think it was at an MLW or a PWG show where it was like Mr. Invisible, like it was two invisible people, and he's reffing the matches, and the crowd is in on the gag. So like there are kicks and stuff, and Bryce has to literally call the match. So he's like calling it, and like there's a spot where like one of them does like a jump from the second balcony, and the crowd is into it. Bryce is like reffing it as if it's a legitimate match. It's phenomenal. I love that kind of stuff. So for me personally, that like I love this kind of stuff. I love it. This was phenomenal. The characters made sense. Like I know who Otis is, I know who Gable is, I know who RK-Bro is. You have great characters, and then like I was laughing when they had the buzzer and Gable's like having a heart attack and he's just complaining about how loud it is and everything. Like this is so good.
Yeah.
And then you have Street Profits come out, and they're giving crap to Alpha Academy, and they have a great match. And didn't they have a picture in picture?
Yeah, they had picture in picture throughout the entire show. Actually,
am I muted? I can't hear you anymore.
I can still talk. I think it's probably on your end.
Nope. Wait.
But yeah, they had picture in picture throughout the entire show, which
I thought was
pretty cool.
There we go. I don't know what happened there. That was weird. What were you saying?
I said they had picture in picture throughout the entire show.
Yeah, that was great. Give me more of that. Give me more of that for my give me more of that for Raw. Give me it was great.
Right. So after the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy, we had the Bobby Lashley segment. Thoughts on that?
It's MVP doing his thing, and he made some good points. And I don't know how I feel about this. This Elimination Chamber match is going to be good wrestling-wise because you have AJ Styles, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, Seth freaking Rollins, and Matt Riddle. So you have great workers in this chamber match.
Mm-hmm.
I just am not looking forward to the finish of this match because it you set this up. They keep. I was listening to the Wrestling Observer, today with Mike Sempervive and Brian Alvarez, and they were talking about this match. And what do you do? Like they keep repeating, winner takes all, title versus title, and do you have Brock lose again at the pay-per-view right after? Like this. I don't
see. Look, I would be surprised if Bobby Lashley would retain, but I wouldn't be surprised if Brock Lesnar wins.
Yeah, I think I was listening to Solid Monster talk about this.
See, we can go more in depth in title versus title at a different time, but in my honest, just to give my quick thoughts, the title versus title would be a very bad choice, just because then you hog up both titles, and we both know Roman's not going to lose those titles anytime soon, and then we're going to get another year-long reign, and it's just going to get stale, and it's going to be all of this. But we'll talk more about that at a different, probably on SmackDown or something. But for right now, let's just finish viewing Raw.
Yeah. What is that's probably your biggest match though. That is going to be your biggest match, and you have the WWE title. That's not going to main event on night one. It's not. It's going to be either in the beginning or the semi-main before Ronda and Charlotte. That's going to be main event night one, and then it's going to be Roman and Brock at night two. So I don't know how I feel. This was but this promo was fun, was great. MVP is so good at what he does. The promo was great.
Yeah. So we had AJ Styles versus Damien Peace, which was actually a really great match, and I'm not even upset that AJ Styles beat Damien Priest clean. It was a great match.
Give me more clean finishes.
As we find out next week, it's going to be Damien Priest versus AJ Styles again, but this time it's for the United States title. So as long as it's a clean finish, I do not have a problem with it being a repeat match. Because it's for the U.S. title.
I just don't want. What I'm worried about though is that we're going to do the same thing that we've been doing with Damien Priest for months now. Is that someone he fights fights him in a non-title match. He loses because he keeps his cool, and then that person gets the title match, and then he loses again because, oh no, the Damien has come out and he beats his ass too hard, and then you do a match and then Damien wins, and don't like this gimmick. I miss cool Damien. I miss like NXT Damien, even when he got called up, where he was hanging out with Bad Bunny, at least, even though he was like Bad Bunny's chauffeur, at least he had a character and like he didn't feel moronic. But Damien Priest is still great. He's a fantastic wrestler. This match was good. It was a decent TV match. It was fun.
So then we had the Miz TV segment with the Mysterios, and I have to say, I actually really dug this Miz TV segment. Miz brought up a lot of excellent points. He said that he talked about how Eddie, the late Eddie Guerrero, his whole gimmick was cheat, night, and steal. Yet he gets cheered. Beth Phoenix attacked the Miz during the match. She gets cheered, but the Miz cheats and he gets booed. So I actually really like this segment.
Look, I love The Miz. I am very much a fan of The Miz. I've been a fan of The Miz for years. Even before like 2016, where he made the Intercontinental title important. Because like I've been a fan of him since like Miz and Morrison, the Dirt Sheets. Way back in the day.
The Miz, I'm surprised he hasn't surpassed Chris Jericho's IC title reigns, especially knowing how petty WWE is.
I mean, they probably will before he retires, maybe. I will say, like this segment was fine. I mean, a lot of Miz TVs are just. This one was good. Well, this one was fine. Maybe not good, but definitely fine because I do agree. Like he brought up the whole. Like that is definitely true. Like I cheat, you boo me, and so on and so on. I did pop for that final line where Miz tells Dom, "Oh man, it's like, wait a minute, you're taller than your dad. Are you sure you're not Eddie's kid?" And then that's what got Ray pissed and started to attack him. I did pop for that line. I know that was just easy. That's just, low hanging fruit, totally easy. But I did pop for that. That was that I did like, oh, that's a good line. This Miz TV segment was fine. It didn't feel damaging to Dom and Ray. And this was more to be like, hey, look, here's the video game. Look, get WWE 2K22. Look who's on the cover. It's Rey Mysterio. Like, I felt like it was more of that, but there was some also storyline elements to this. So this was just fine. Like, it was the most benign stuff. I have more problems with the match, though.
Actually, I disagree. I actually like the match. The Miz versus Dominick Mysterio. Yes, is a repeat match, but the outcome was different than last week. If the Miz would have won this match, I would have been like, this match is totally pointless. But I actually like the fact that Maurice got involved and she got ejected from the ringside. Rey Mysterio got involved and he helped Dominic beat the Miz. So I actually really enjoyed this.
That's why I have a problem with it, though. This was definitely like you had a match. The match was fine. Miz is good. I will definitely say, like, when Miz is on, he's on. This was like, I think this was, excuse me, I'm sorry, I have hiccups. This was a short match, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, it was like only like maybe like 3 to 5 minutes tops. Because it didn't go to commercial. I don't like the finish because last week you had a stupid short match between Miz and Dom, and Maurice, or I think it was Maurice, threw off Dom, and then Dom, because he's an idiot babyface. Oh no, like
No,
Ray
you're getting mixed up. Last week there was what happened last week was Miz made it seem like he basically
yeah,
played
that was
possum
it.
and made it seem like Ray got involved in this match to get Ray ejected.
That was dumb because it made Dom look like an idiot babyface, which that's what WWE does anyway. This the reason why I don't like this is better than last week. This is better than the match last week, but I still don't like this because Dom continues to just be Ray's kid, and I'm tired of it. I want Dom to pretty much be appreciated in the same way Hook is in AEW. Dominick Mysterio should, and he's been there longer. He's been there for 2+ years. He should be extremely over.
Well, maybe that's Ray's fault, because from my understanding, they were planting the seeds for Dominic to turn on his father, but I think Ray vetoed that idea.
I disagree with that. I mean, mind you, but here's the thing: even if I think the thing is that even if that's the case, the only reason I can see Rey Mysterio saying no, don't turn heel, is because Ray wants to go ahead and fight his son, and then that he passes his mask to Dom. That's the goal. That's his end goal. Yeah. I don't know if that is the plan, was the plan, what they're doing. Mind you, Dom doesn't need to turn on Rey Mysterio to. I hate WWE's philosophy, thinking that in order to go singles, you have to turn on your tag team partner. Rey Mysterio Dom doesn't have to turn heel on Rey in order to go for singles and be treated important. You can still have Rey in the corner cheering on his son and being there and stuff like that. You can do that. Dom continues to just feel like Ray's kid, and that's all he's gonna be. I'm waiting for the day for Dominick Mysterio to become Dominick Mysterio.
And I'm still waiting for Veer to debut.
Whenever that's gonna be.
All right, so then after this we had Bianca Bellar versus Nikki Ash. This was an okay match. It wasn't too bad.
Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Bianca Bellar ended up victorious.
I just don't care. I'm sorry. I don't. Great. You have a match. You have Nikki Ash lose in 2 to 3 minutes. It was a fine match because both of them are great workers. It just doesn't matter. It's just this match is here to just kill time. That's my problem with it.
But I'd rather have that match than Rhea versus Nikki again. So then we had Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory, which I actually liked. It was a good match. I liked it. Kevin Owens getting the W and returning. What I liked, I know the segment came later, but what I liked was what followed was the backstage segment after this match. Kevin Owens pleading his case to Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce about being in the Elimination Chamber.
He made some good points.
And then he cut a very heartfelt promo. He says that the people of Texas deserve Kevin Owens, that he loves Texas, and that you're deep in the heart of Kevin. That was a great segment.
Kevin Owens is so good. I really do. I really Seth Rollins is in singles competition, and that's where they want him to be. Fine, but I really want Seth and Kevin to just tag and fight the Alpha Academy and fight RKBro and fight the Street Profits. That would be so much fun. I love Seth and Kevin Owens together.
Steve Callahan saying Texas does need Kevin Owens. Yeah. Rose Montana saying, is Raw worth rewatching? I'd say so.
Was to rewatch this episode?
Yeah, this episode, yeah.
Specific segments. I would not watch top to bottom, like all the way through. Watch the opening hour. That one was great. This match, the match we're talking about right now, is great. The main event was good.
We'll
and
get
bad.
there. We'll get
I
there.
know, but like, yes and no. Yes and no for rewatching it. It was.
All right. So then after that, we get Lita, a segment. She basically starts talking, and Becky Lynch is interrupted. Or Becky Lynch interrupts her, saying that she worshipped Lita as a teenager. Who didn't worship Lita? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that without Lita, there would be no Becky Lynch. But now that there's a Becky Lynch, there can be no Lita. And that Becky had to get rid of everything to get to where she is. Lita said that she has no problem being the underdog. And that as long as the WWE Universe still supports her, all she will ever have is the people. And then the segment ends by Lita giving the twist of fate and the moonsault to Becky Lynch.
Yeah. This promo was this was good. I mean, mind you, you have Lita and Becky in the ring, like cutting promos, and it was great. I really like how in like with Becky, like Becky said, without Lita, there wouldn't be the man. And I would believe that. Because there are specific wrestlers where if you didn't have this wrestler wrestling at X time when they were a kid, so and so on, like that wrestler impacted them. I can see how Lita impacted Becky Lynch when she was a kid growing up, so on and so on. I like this is definitely. I don't know if like how I do want like I love Lita, I love Becky. The moons, the swantons look great. The twist of fate looked great. So I really do hope Lita can go in this match. Because at the Rumble, when she was at the Rumble, she wasn't bad, but she wasn't good either.
Or the Rumble is different because it's not one-on-one.
It's not one-on-one. Yeah, it's like, but like I'm just saying, like just wrestling in general, just kind of like wrestling moves.
I guess we're gonna see. Becky versus Lita has the potential to be a great match if Lita can go. But if Lita can't go,
I'll say I will say this. I care way more about this match than I do about Roman v. Goldberg. I could give two craps about that match.
Yeah, and also too, I think that if Becky can carry Lita, I think it would still be an okay match. If she can carry her, I think it'd be good. But if she can't carry her and Lita can't go, it's just gonna be a complete disaster.
Charlotte and Becky are, I would probably say, two of the greatest women wrestlers in professional wrestling. They can totally carry a match. Yeah. Becky carried Doudrop at at the Rumble. Yeah. And Becky was doing everything she could to get the crowd back into that match. Becky carried, I wouldn't say like Becky carried Liv, but Becky challenged Liv to step to her level, and she did. Like, Becky and Charlotte are two women who are able to have other wrestlers step up and like really do more with them.
Yeah. So we also found out that there's going to be a women's elimination chamber match to determine who faces Becky at WrestleMania, with the mystery woman being a part of this chamber. So I would say maybe Asuka.
Wait a minute, they're doing a women's chamber?
Yeah, women's chamber. Winner faces Becky.
I totally missed that.
Huh. Yeah, winner versus Becky Lynch at WrestleMania.
Okay, so they're going to do a women's chamber, and whoever wins that chamber goes against Becky at Mania.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. Bianca's going to be in it, and she's going to be the one to win the whole thing. She's going to win the whole thing. Bianca's going to be in it. I could see if
Liv Morgan is in. It's Bianca, Liv Morgan, Nikki Ash. I think Rhea's in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so they only announced 5, and then the 6th person is a mystery.
I hate that. Wait a minute. Oh, whoa. Do they say Becky Lynch, or do they say whoever wins in that match?
Whoever wins.
Good. Okay. I know that like Becky's gonna beat Lita, but like I hate it when WWE does the whole thing where like, oh, we're setting up this contenders match, and whoever wins this fights the champ fights the champion, and they use the current named champion because whatever. Like, come on. But anyway, so okay.
Yeah, so I think it's Asuka, but I can't. I just thought of this. I was thinking Asuka, but maybe what if it's Bailey? I don't know if she's medically cleared to return.
If it's Bailey, I'd be so happy. I want Bailey so hard. I think Bailey would be.
Is she medically cleared to return? She's been out for a while now.
She's been out for a long time. I feel like she is, because like I feel like she's ready to go, but I want Bailey. I want Bailey so badly.
Yeah, I would say either Asuka or Bailey. If it's anybody else, it'd be like I don't know.
Yeah,
you know, I would say Alexa, but it seems like she's not ready to go yet.
No, the plan for her, this has been said by Fightful and Sean Ross Sapp, is that these segments are going to go until Mania, and then Mania is when Alexa Bliss comes back to wrestle, which is dumb, which is stupid.
So she's probably going to come back to wrestle before Veer and Elias.
Oh yeah. And mind you, like these segments, like I think they only recorded like 3 months worth of segments, but they've had to stretch them out until Mania. That's why it was so weird. I know we're going to talk about it later, but like they had a second segment of the therapy, and it's talking about last week I saw you. We talked about this, and it's only later in the episode. So it's weird because the way that the segments are done is in real time. But
they should have brought back Dr. Shelby for this.
I wish it was Shelby. God, it would have been so much. I would have just been like, I'm fine with this because Shelby's here. But
then we had Liv Morgan versus Doudrop. It was nothing special. Doudrop won, but hey, as long as it wasn't a repeat match from last week, it's all good.
Good push, Liv. Back to the undercard you go. God,
all right, then we had what was supposed to be our main event. It was Seth freaking Rollins versus Matt Riddle, which I was actually happy about because I really wanted to see this match, and so far it was going good. And then Kevin Owens had to come out and help his best friend Seth Rollins. And then if you know where this is going, we got ourselves a little tag team match now, player. Holla. And then it became RKBro versus Kevin Owens and Seth freaking Rollins, which I didn't think was that bad. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins were victorious, and then Raw closes with Randy Orton giving Kevin Owens the RKO. What are your thoughts on overall thoughts on this?
I'm not mad at the ending. I'm not mad about the definitive ending where it's that Seth and Kevin go over RK-Bro. I don't know how I feel. I loved, so you have Seth cutting a promo and Seth freaking Rollins. This version of Seth is amazing. I love Seth freaking Rollins. I love this version. Please do not screw this up again, WWE, because every time Seth has a great gimmick and a great character, somehow, some way, they screw him up and they have to go back to the drawing board and fix it all over. So do not screw this up, WWE. Anyway, you have a fantastic match. This match is great because it's Seth versus Matt Riddle, two very good workers. But then you have Kevin Owens come out to cause a DQ. Great. And then Randy Orton comes out for the save. And then we get a tag match. Of course we do, because we got to do that. And then you have a good tag match. RK-Bro versus Seth and Kevin. Great wrestlers, great workers, great wrestling match. And the ending of the wrestling match was good.
Clean finish.
But the problem that I have with it is that, one, you have RK-Bro, which will be fighting for the Raw tag belts like next week or later or whatever. So you have that. And you cause a DQ finish in the singles match this tag match didn't need to happen. This didn't need to happen at all. Didn't Kevin Owens didn't wrestle earlier in the show?
Yeah.
So then why? Give me that final 8 to 10 minutes, whatever that tag match was. Just give me more of Matt Riddle versus Seth. And have Kevin Owens come, like, if you want Kevin Owens there, fine. Have Kevin Owens come out from the crowd to Seth's corner, but he's not going to come in and interfere with the match. Kevin Owens comes out to the ring. Randy sees this. Randy then walks out from the back through the ramp to Matt Riddle's side, and then you can go ahead and have a huge schmoz at the end and have everyone fight each other, and you still get the whole thing. Matt Riddle goes over on Seth. Why? Because like, you do that thing because you have Matt Riddle going to fight for Matt Riddle's going into the chamber, and Matt Riddle's fighting for tag belts. So or because Seth is a better singles wrestler, you can have Seth actually beat Riddle because Riddle is currently in a tag team. So you can still do Seth beating Matt Riddle, and it makes sense because Matt Riddle's in a tag team. That's kind of been his focus right now. So he hasn't been wrestling as a singles guy. He's been wrestling as tag, so he doesn't have the stamina to keep going and blah, blah, blah. Phrasing. But you could have still done the finish that Seth goes over, but you didn't need to do the DQ. You didn't need to do the holla holla, let's do a tag team match, y'all. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
But it was still good wrestling, like clean, like that final clean finish and fine. It just, the ending didn't make me go, oh man, I can't wait for Raw next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm gonna give you my thoughts and opinions. So I thought it was a great episode of Raw. Better, this week, better than what we've gotten in the past, I would say.
This
Way
is probably
better.
the currently for this year, probably the best episode of Raw of 2022 right now.
Yeah.
I'd watch this episode again if I had to. I won't, but
okay. So what I really liked the quiz bowl. I like the quiz bowl.
Best part of the show.
Best part, definitely. I liked AJ Styles versus Damien Priest.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the Kevin Owens heartfelt Texas promo.
That was a great promo. That was great.
I liked Seth. I liked the singles match. Seth freaking Rollins versus Matt Riddle.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I appreciate the fact that Liv Morgan versus Doudrop and Bianca Belair versus Nikki Ash were not repeat matches.
Yep.
I will say they're not repeat matches from last week, so I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Callahan giving this Monday Night Raw 6 out of 10. So yes,
did you
Dominic was a repeat match, but it was a different outcome. Had it been the same outcome, I could have cared less. Yes, Kevin Owens versus Austin Theory was a repeat match, but Kevin Owens was victorious. Had it been Austin Theory, I would have thought this match was completely pointless, no matter how good of a match it would have been. That being said, another critique that I have is we're putting to Elimination Chamber the women's matches. You could have made them mean something by making it a beat the clock challenge, and the winners
have a qualifier. Just do a qualifier. That's all you need to do. Do a qualifier. That's it.
Okay, you could have done a qualifiers.
That's all you need to do.
Like the guys. But since they weren't qualifying matches, you could have done a beat the clock challenge, and whoever got the fastest time would be the last one. But because there's a mystery woman in this match, that didn't happen. I would say that the guys could have had beat the clock challenges, like Matt Riddle versus Seth freaking Rollins could have been a beat the clock challenge. Like if Matt, and then it could be carried out.
Why would you want beat the clock challenges? I don't see why you would want that. That doesn't make any sense why you would have those. So I just feel like that
because then whoever wins could come out last in the chamber. I feel like it. But that's just me.
I mean, but the whole thing about the chamber is, I think what they're going to do on the go home is that they're going to do some kind of maybe fatal 5-way or fatal 4-way, probably a fatal 4-way, because they're not going to include Brock and
Lashley.
Bobby into that. So they'll do a fatal 4-way, and whoever wins that becomes the final entrant.
I could see them doing that. And mind you, the go home show is on Valentine's Day, so I'm expecting some type of Valentine's Day theme episode next week. Hopefully next week is not too bad.
Yeah. I just don't think a beat the clocks, you have to make the beat the clocks are hard matches to do. And they have to make sense when you're doing them. You can't just throw them out. I
Okay.
don't like beat the clock matches there needs to be a reason why.
Okay.
So I don't think those would be the smartest, but I do agree there should be, for the women especially, they should have just done a qualifying just like they did for the men. You don't have to, like, literally you could have who do they have? They got
okay, so it would have been Bianca versus Nikki Ash. So then that means that Bianca would have qualified. Liv Morgan versus Doudrop. So Doudrop would have qualified.
Exactly.
And then next week we could have had the final. We could have had 2 more matches because it could have been Zelina or Carmella versus Rhea.
Yeah, or you can start like on Friday you can have two women from SmackDown get in on this or something, like, or if you needed to be all of Raw, like, you can have Dana Brooke lose to someone. Like, who cares? Like,
1 out of 10. Michael 10159 say Raw was a 1 out of 10.
I think you're just trolling, dude. I look,
so,
dude. I have. Did you talk about Alexa? Did you talk about the Alexa segment?
Yeah, we did. We talked about Alexa.
Okay.
So overall, I would say, aside from those few critiques, I would give this a 3 out of 5. Like I said, what stopped me from giving it a 4 was the fact that we did have some repeat matches, and the women's matches, they were kind of just there. In the main event, like you said, there was no reason why we needed to have a tag match. Unless Kevin and Seth Rollins were going to be a part of the tag team division. I actually wanted them to be a part of the tag team division, but that's just me. So I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5 and a 7 out of 10. What about you?
Just quickly before I go ahead and give my scale, because I didn't talk about Alexa. These segments were fine. I didn't like how the second one, it was like a week later and stuff. I'm ready to see Alexa Bliss wrestle or whatever gimmick she's going to do next. I've never been a fan of this whole, like, she's doing the therapy and stuff. I don't. But I will say, I very much did enjoy the 24/7 segment with Dana Brooke and Reggie, where Dana Brooke friend zoned Reggie and all that stuff. Like, I very much wanted them, like, oh, come on, kiss you two. Oh, come on. And then, of course, you have, R-Truth being hilarious, and Tamina and Kira Tozawa have going like, I hate this. It was a fine segment. But overall, so compared to every other episode of Raw, like, I would say this is a 4 out of 5 show. This is a 4 out of 5 show on the WWE scale. On the WWE scale, like, this is like, if I had to go like AEW and WWE and all the other shows are equal. No, there's no way. Like, there's no way. I can't do that. But I very much did enjoy this episode of Raw more than normal because. And, like, this is me looking back on it and also kind of sitting back. I'm like, okay, what did I enjoy? What like, was this legitimately good? Was this legitimately bad? There were less segments in the show that damaged or were boring or whatever. And I the rating of the show is going to be bad. It's going to be bad.
Let's see. Michael 10159 says, Alexa's starting to turn back into the goddess. These segments have been awful. I can say Raw has been better than SmackDown. Yeah, 2 weeks in a row,
watch Raw. I would gladly watch Raw over SmackDown. SmackDown has been boring. Nothing happens. Nothing it's just the same stuff. When
you take notes like I do, you can keep track of what happens week to week basis. And SmackDown just gave you repeat matches with the same outcomes.
I can't even believe it. Like,
honestly, the repeat matches that we got this week, if they would have had the same outcome, I would have just been like, okay, the same outcome ruined it for me.
Or WWE likes to do this thing where they 50-50 book. So one week you have, like we'll use Dom and Miz. 1 week Miz goes over, the next week Dom goes over, but nothing happens. Nothing happens. And now, mind you, in that, Miz and, the Mysterios and Miz and Maurice.
SmackDown's roster is absolute garbage. They really need help. Yeah, unfortunately.
But it's also the booking. This is a systemic problem with booking. Like, WWE, even like SmackDown has a roster. They have a good roster. Do they have stars? Not really outside of Roman. Drew's back, but Drew is going to be this is what's going to happen. Drew's going to fight Madcap Moss at Chamber, beat his ass, and then we're going to get a feud building to Mania. Drew's going to fight Baron Corbin at Mania, and there's your Mania match for them. It's ridiculous. It's dumb. And look, I love Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin is a great wrestler, has a great
Fox is
move.
paying $1 million for SmackDown. They are really regretting it. Is it $1 million? I thought it was $1 billion.
They're making they're making ham over fist. Are they regretting? No. I mean, mind you, they got Ronda, which is a big deal for SmackDown for Fox. That's kind of like here you go, Fox. Here you go. You take this. No, I don't think they're and they're getting like $2 million almost weekly. So no, I'm Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics reported that WWE has made is like in like the billions, which is the very first time in the history of the company. And
McIntyre versus Corbin does not scream WrestleMania match. I agree with you.
But that's gonna be at Mania. That's gonna be at Mania. That's what sucks though. That is the Mania match.
That screams SmackDown to me.
No, duh. But that's where I feel that's where it seems like it's going, and it sucks. But as I said, this episode of Raw, and you had picture in picture, which was great. They chose to do the first hour straight through, which is great. I really would hope that's actually helpful. That was helpful. Because now your commercials were WWE commercials, so you didn't feel stagnant. And yes, you still have 3 hours. You're not going to lose the third hour. So why don't you just do the first hour straight through? Now, mind you, Sci-Fi is a smaller channel than USA is.
I think that they pulled out all the stops for this episode, and they're probably gonna pull out all the stops for next week's episode because this week's and next week's are also gonna be on Sci-Fi.
Wow.
So I honestly think they're gonna bring out all the stops for the episode.
I'm not saying WWE has a booking problem because they don't know how to book baby faces, at all. But I will say, that first hour felt like it was only half an hour. It flew by so quickly. I was surprised. Yeah. I'm like, oh, we're at commercial now? Holy crap. And I knew, because when the Profits and Alpha Academy are like, all right, we're going to fight each other now, it cuts then to the announcer table. It feels weird, but also, I know how wrestling works. So I know that they're doing that because they're getting the crap from the trivia out of the ring, so that's how they're doing it. So I get it. I know how TV works, so that's kind of why I'm not as mad at it and stuff. But it didn't feel like this episode, even with, because if most episodes of Raw just feels like here's a match, and that's an hour tops, maybe more 45 minutes of wrestling. The rest of the show, I would probably say 30 minutes of it is promos, maybe 30 minutes to 45, another 45 minutes is promos. I'd probably say half an hour is wrestling. 45 minutes is promos, and then the rest of it are recap packages and video packages and literally stuff that does not matter. It's just there to pad out the show. So this, yes, you had padding. Yes, you had your recaps and stuff, but it didn't feel like it was there to pad out the show. It didn't feel like they were just there because, we don't know what else to do. Here, let's talk about Lita and Becky for the billionth time. Let's show whatever. I've seen them do earlier tonight video packages 3 times in an episode of Raw, where I think they did one of them and it was in the third hour, going all the way back to the opening, because the through line of the show was RKBro. And that's your through line throughout the entire show. You have the trivia in the beginning, then you have the Street Profits match after, then you have a kind of a promo, I think it was within hour 2 or maybe at the end of hour 2, about, Randy telling Riddle to hey, stay focused, fight Seth, and then you have the ending half hour or so with that. So, but yeah, no, I mean, like this was a, like, compared to your normal average WWE episode, this was a good episode of Raw. I was surprised with this episode of Raw. Were there bad things on this show? Yes. Yes, there was. But none of it was damaging, where I'm like, what did you do to him? What did you do to my boy? Like, it just, like, if it were bad, it was just like, your average, normal WWE, who cares? Blah, blah, blah. But when it was good, it was good. Like, it was really good. So yeah, I mean, like, that's why I would be like 4 out of 5 for this. 4 out of 5 in a WWE show for the 4 out of 5. Yeah,
I understand your reasoning, but like I said, for me, it was just the rematches and the fact that the women's matches I felt were kind of just there. That's what stopped me from giving it a 4.
And I get, and I like, look, those matches are just there. I'm used to it. I like, those matches don't mean anything, and I wish they did. If they made those, like, those short women matches, Nikki Ash versus Bianca, and Doudrop versus whatever versus Liv, if you turn them into qualifying, holy crap, I now care way more. And this crowd was so hot throughout the entire show. That crowd so helped in a lot of parts, and it wasn't just crowd sweetening. It wasn't just crowd sweetening. There was a lot of stuff. Yeah. I hate WWE crowds when they do the what chants. I hate that chant with all of my fiber. But that's just the WWE crowd.
All right, so to get ready to sign off, you got any parting words for people listening?
Yes. All right. So yes, as I said, I am Brett J. Rasmussen. You can go ahead and go to my own YouTube, youtube.com/Brotherhood of Geeks. Like, comment, share, subscribe, tell everyone you know, tell everyone you don't know about the Brotherhood of Geeks. On the Brotherhood of Geeks, I do unboxings, I do reviews, I do reactions. Pretty much, we have state of plays happening. There's movie trailers. I know that within the next week or so, Horizon Forbidden West is coming out. I'll have an unboxing of the collector's editions of that game, I'll be reviewing that game along with the other video game called Elden Ring. I'll be reviewing that and doing an unboxing for that collector's edition too. And then, of course, we have our PlayStation podcast called Dual Shocked, where we talk about video game news and anything and everything relating to PlayStation. We just talked about the big Activision buyout. And like, we're going to be talking about a bunch of other things on our show. Yeah, I mean, you can go ahead and go to my YouTube to do that. You can also follow me and the channel on Twitter at DualShockedBOG. That's DualShocked BOG on Twitter. You can also follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Brotherhood of Geeks, Instagram.com/Brotherhood of Geeks, and then you can also follow us on Twitch when we stream at twitch.tv/Brotherhood of Geeks. So yeah, a lot of video game stuff, a lot of things happening. And of course, I love wrestling. Oh my God, I'm so ready for Wednesday. I just have to say that. Oh my God, I'm so ready for Wednesday. I can't wait.
Yeah, we know you are.
My betting money's on Keith Lee. That's my betting money.
We'll talk about that on Wednesday. Let's just stick to the topic at hand. So, anywho, as for myself, Legacy of Power officially turns on Tuesday. It's going to be a special Valentine's Day edition of Legacy of Power. I will be talking about romance in Power Rangers. So, I hope you guys look forward to that on Tuesday. And I'll see you guys on Wednesday after AEW Dynamite. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever I go live or release a new video. I'll catch you guys on Wednesday.
Keith is coming! Keith is coming!